Okay. So see, how do I proceed for the training is that, I take a use case, and based on that use case, I proceed with the training, and in between whatever the step will come, I'll go with the topics, and then that helps also to go with all the cover all those topics, and also it creates an application at the end. So we will be having an application at the end of the training, right? So that is my approach. If that is okay with you guys, then I can continue with that, or if you have anything in your mind that you want to go the topic wise, and then see how it works. So what do you guys think? So yeah, I mean, Shashi, Venibabu.
Uh, yeah, Ravi. I think better whatever you think, that would be fine.
Mm,
Because
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So if you guys have anything in your mind, has any use case, do you want that you want
Mm.
to go with that?
Uh, Sorry, Ravi. I don't have anything in mind currently. Maybe
Hmm.
in between, if we think something, maybe we will let you know, and then you can help on that. That's what my
Okay,
thought.
okay. All right. Okay, so let's I had something like, I thought of having something like a customer service management, where we will have an application where, it will be work like, a customer will call, and then they will report their issues, like suppose it's internet issue or some other issues, or if they have it with their application, right? Suppose if we are going to use some internet service provider as a company, we are the internet service provider, and then we have multiple customers. So each customer will call, and then they will say, maybe the internet speed is slow, or internet is not working at all, or the router is not working. So this kind of call they can do, and they can raise a request. So in our system, what we will do, we will raise a request, and then we will assign each request to an agent, right? And agent will pick up, and they can provide their inputs, and this is how they will provide their visit, or the details, what they have done, is it resolved or not resolved, if it is any chargeable or not. So these kind of things we can put, and then complete workflow will be also with there. We can use our record reports also there, so this way we can complete one application, right? So is that okay if we let's proceed with this application, and then we'll see how, because this application is a complete workflow as well, right? So it will cover all the Appian topics that we need to build an application. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we start the our application. The application name we thought about think about is that customer service management. So what we need to do, we need to create a application package, entire package, where we will be keeping all our objects related to this application. Okay, so let's go and create a new application. So we are at the designer environment, and this is the Appian designer environment, and we are going to have a new application. So we say new application. We click on it, and we will give the name as customer service management. Okay, it's give you a prefix. Prefix is very important, right? Because whatever rule we will be creating, we will be using this prefix to create the rule name for each rule name, any object that we will create into the Appian. Okay, so put some good description. um, an application to raise a request for internet issues. Okay. Okay, so you see there is a one checkbox is called generate groups and folders to secure and organize objects. So Appian also gives you the feature of securing your objects. If you use this checkbox, what it will do, it will create two groups at least to secure an application, and those two groups will be like administrator and the viewer. So system administrator will have your entire access of your application. They can add, remove, delete everything, whatever they want, they can put into the they can do that. And the other one will be have the viewer group, which, one second guys. And the other one will be viewer group, where user can go and they can see and start a process, but they will not be able to delete the object from your application and delete. I mean, basically the viewer will have the access of the viewing your application, initiating any action, updating any data or something, but they cannot delete it. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to check this checkbox and say create. So the minimum, there's a different, they ask these questions, what is the minimum role is application can have. So minimum they need two roles, one for the CMS administrator and another is a I mean administrator and the user. So you see this one CSM, they're giving this prefix, they created this group and they given the name as CSM administrator and CSM users. All right, so I'll say save. Now if we go to inside this package now, so we are inside the package now, and then we say build. So if you go inside the build, you can see this, they have, the system has created these 7 objects for you, and these 7 objects have the folders CSM rules and constant, which will have all of your interface, expression rule, constant, whatever we will create, we will have it here. They have also created two groups, CSM administrator and CSM users, which is a system groups. System groups, when I say, it means it's not the group like if your application, I mean, if your organization has the managers or the agents. So those groups are the working people of your organization, but these groups will be the users who will be, using your applications kind of, as an access wise, like we say, who is the administrator and who will be the your users. So users will have all, it's kind, you can mention that CSM user is the parent of all the groups. So this is the parent of all the groups. If you go inside this one, you will see that administrator has been added to this group as well. So where whatever group you will create in this application, that will be the part of this group as well. Okay, now it has also created one knowledge center. So what is a knowledge center? A knowledge center is an Appian repository where it allows you to create certain folders, not for the rules. You see this rule folder is not into the knowledge center. This is outside of the knowledge center, but inside the knowledge center we can have document folder, we can have some artifacts, and if you create any like report, then we need to save that report as a document to the knowledge center. Okay, any document related, like any template if you want to use, so you will need to store those documents into the knowledge center. So that is the use of the knowledge center. It's a Appian repository where you keep your documents. Any document that you generate through the system, that will also be saved into the knowledge center, okay, in defined folders. So that is the use of the knowledge center. And then we have CSM process model, so it also create a process model folder for you. So this process model folder will have the list of the whatever process model we will be creating, those process model will be here inside this folder. Doubts? So what is a group? What is a knowledge center? What is the folders?
Okay. So this folders will get created when we check that group generate groups
Yes,
and all these things
yes.
by
Once we
default.
check that checkbox, this will be created by default. If you don't check that checkbox, we need to create all these objects manually.
And one
Okay.
question, what do we
Mhm.
call these components in Appian? It's kind of rules or what is it?
So every component has their own name, right? If you click on new, you will see it's a data type, data store, record, process model, process reports, interface, sites, execution rules. So all these are different components that we will be creating inside our application.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah. So someone has. I thought someone has joined in between. Okay. Um. So this is fine, right? I mean, you don't have any issues. So what we did till now, we created a package. We created the package, and we have certain. Okay, so yeah, I mean these are things we will be creating, and once you go back here, you will see this application package has been created for us, and it says customer service management. And if you click here, then you will get inside this, and then you will be seeing all this object. Okay, so whatever we'll be creating for this application, we will be creating inside this object, inside this folder package only. Okay. All right. So now, as we have decided to go with the service, customer service management, right? Then we should be having some user details, like I kind of like customer details table, where we can define some list of the number of customers that we have, and then we can proceed with those things. So in Appian, anything, I'm not in Appian, any application that you build, right? Any other languages, all are nothing but to do with some play with the data, right? What is the data, and what data you will be creating, and where from where you will pull the data, and to where you will be writing the data. Okay, so let's first decide what are the attributes we will be requiring for this customer details table. So what we will doing, we will be creating a table for the customers. So let me open an Excel sheet, and then so we will be requiring one table. So we'll say CSM underscore customers. Okay, so this is our one table that we are going to have. So what are the attributes it will have? It will have customer ID, that should be of type number integer, and we can be also be like primary key, right? And yeah, we can also put auto increment. So this is the one column we have. We can also have for first name, kind of varchar, right? And we can have middle name, again it's going to be varchar. We can have last name, then a varchar. We can have, what do you say, contact. um, mm, mm, mm. I'm thinking a customer can have multiple contacts. So let's say I'm giving this as a context and giving as a number integer, and this should be kind of foreign key. Okay, and then what else? Suggest me, guys. Tell me. I mean, address contacts, that will be also be number integer, and it will be also be foreign key. What else?
Uh, we need to have something for reason, correct? Why they are called.
No, that is for the customer details. We are just creating a table for the customers. What are the customer information we capture,
Okay.
right? So we have context and address, that will be another table.
we can add is active kind of like customer is
Yeah, is
active.
active. Yeah, is active. We can add at the last. Anything else? I'm just thinking. Anything else we need to capture? I guess this is it. Customer name and all, right. Customer ID is also there. It's fine. Okay. What we can do is we can have customer. reference number and of varchar. Okay, so this is the customer table we are going to create, and before this creating this table, what we need to have, we need to have two more tables, the context and then address, right? So I'll say csm underscore customer contact. Okay, we'll say id, that should be number integer, and this should be primary key, and then it should also be auto increment, and then we will have customer id, that should be number integer, right? And then we have mobile, and that should, we put varchar, we'll put office, that should be again varchar, and then we'll put email again a varchar. Okay, so this is going to be our customer contact table, and then we also need an address. So we'll say give the name as okay, is active, it can also have is active, and we can give the name as csm underscore customer address, and we have id, that will be number integer as a primary key, and then auto increment. Okay, and then we have customer id, that should be also number integer, and then we will have start from street number, then a varchar, we can have city varchar, and we can also have country varchar, and zip code, then a varchar. Okay, so this is the table that we are going to define, and this is how we will have our customer information captured into the system. Okay, so let's save this file for our future purpose. I'll just keep this name as CSM tables. Oh, why it is cool. Okay, so we have decided this attribute of the tables, and then we need to create this attribute, right? So let's go back to our Appian, and then what we need to do, we need to move to the cloud database. And then we click on the Appian and we'll say new table. So let's start with the customer contact. So I'll say copy this name and put it here. How many column we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will add 2 more columns, and we have ID, customer ID mobile. So we'll say ID, number integer, auto increment, and then primary. Okay, and then we have customer ID. Again, it's going to number integer, no primary, and then we'll say mobile office email. So mobile. I'm going to have as a varchar, and then we define the size length of like 15. Initially, it can be null. It's an office number. Again, it's going to be varchar. We'll define the size 20, and initially it can be null. And then we have email and is active. Email as an varchar. I'll put size of 100, and then we will have is active. We will have it as a tiny int, and then initially it can be null. Okay. So this is the customer contact table. We hit, if you want to capture this statement, you can copy and save it somewhere and then use it on a later purpose. We save it, right? So this table is created. Okay, CSM customer contact is created now. Let's go and add another table. So we'll say new, and then we'll give this name address. Copy this. Let's say address. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 is already there. Add 2 more columns, and we'll say ID. Okay, it will be auto increment and primary. Fine, and then we will have customer ID. It is going to be number integer again, and then we will have state, city, country is there. So we'll say street varchar. I'll put like 50 characters. Obviously, it can be null. City going to be varchar. I'll put 50 characters.
Hi Ravi, one
Yeah.
small question.
Mhm.
So here we need to map one table with other table, no? With the
Yes,
primary
yes,
key
we'll
and
do that.
foreign key.
Yeah, we will do that. We'll
Uh,
do that.
okay, thank you.
Zip code is going to be here. Let's say 10 characters. Okay, so this table is also done. We are done with this table. Okay, I haven't done because we have not created the customer table as of now, right? Because customer ID is a foreign key here. So we need to first create the customer table as well, right? So now we are going to create the customer table. So we'll say new, and then finally we are going to have this customer table. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So add 3 more rows. Hit go. Let's say customer ID, number and teacher, auto increment, primary. Okay, and then we will have customer reference. It's going to be varchar. I would say 10 digits. Initially, it can be null. First name, middle name, last name. So I'll say first name, then a varchar. I'll put 50 characters long. Middle name, the varchar. I'll say 50 characters long. Last name. So you're seeing this, the form, I mean, the naming convention I'm following. This may vary for account to account, organization to organization. In some organization, I have seen that they are using the all in capitals, using the underscores. So that depends how they want to. And then we have context. I don't need these two context and address. Why? Because this contact and address is already there in the customer ID. We have already defined this customer ID, right? So we don't need these two columns physically. We can delete this and we can mention the foreign key here. Foreign key here. Okay. So this is done. These two tables are ready. 3 odd tables are ready. I'll just hit. I'll say go and save it. Please enter a valid length for here. So I'll say 50. Okay. And then I'll say save. Okay, now if I go to the customer address table, right, and if you go to the structure, this is going to be my foreign key, right? So what we will do, we need to add the foreign. We go to the relational view, and we will say the customer ID. It's going to be my customer table and the cust ID. Okay, and save it. So once I save it, if you go to the table structure, you will see this customer ID is being as a marked as an indexed with this customer ID of the CSM customer table. Same way, go for the contact, go to the structure, and go to the relational view and add a column called customer ID in Appian table. Go to the CSM customer tables and select the first ID of this particular table. So this is now being added to your um, here as well. Okay, so what we have done, we have added this customer ID as a foreign key of the CSM customer table. Any doubt, guys? I mean, what we have done till now?
No doubts, it's clear for me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, so let's go and put some information in these tables, because we need to have some information, right, that we can display and we can search for the customers. So we'll start from the customer tables, and then we'll say insert. So let's say this will be CSM, I'll say 001, because this will have the 00 ID 1. First name, let's say Raj K Mohan. Okay, and then we have CSM 002. Okay, let's say Mahesh Chandra. Let's do one thing, preview SQL and copy this entire thing. Go to the notepad, paste it here. Okay, this values, let's copy. At least I'll try to put 10. Okay, say okay. So I'll just copy this entire and then close this one. Go to the SQL, click OK, Control A, Control V, and then hit go. Perfect. Now, if you go to the customer tables, we will be having all this information stated. So you have this. Okay, I need to make this changes. Control and 3, 4. Oops, 155. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, fine. So now we have all those information for the customers. Now let's go put some information into the context. So I'll say insert. Okay. So here you see this one, right? Customer ID. It is asking you to select which customer ID you want, and then we have 10 customer ID added already. So it's saying, okay, these are the 10 customers we are getting it here. Okay, we can select from this. So mobile number, I'll say +91 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Office number, I'll say +91 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Email, I'll say what is his name? Okay, let me open it on the table. Raj K Mohan, right? So we'll put something like that. So I'll say rajk@gmail.com is active. I'll say true. Okay. Now, similar way, I'll select here customer 2. Mobile number, I'll say +91 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 +91 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. What is the second username? Mohan M. I'll say Mohan at yahoo.com. Okay, I'll say go. Let's see. Let's go to browse. Yeah, we have these two information, and you see this customer ID is now foreign key is not, it's kind of linked. If you click, you will be direct to your this is screen. So let's put the information for all these customers we have. So we will select the customer ID 3 now. Let's +91 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 +91 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. What is the third customer name? Is oh, Mohan C, here it is. Fine, no problem. Say Mohan at gmail.com. We'll select the 4 +91. I know this is kind of boring, but yeah, guys, bear with me because this is the data that we need to prepare, right? We cannot have to display. Okay. What this username is that Rohan R. Let's say Rohan at yahoo.com. Okay, is active too. Cool. All is active 1. Okay. Okay. Let me do insert 5. What this user is water. Six. Okay, how many have we done? We are done around 6 only. 4 more to go. Okay, 7 +9 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 +9 1 8. What is this? User 7? We have Babban. Okay, is active 1. Number 8. Okay. Cool. 9 and 10. Cool. Okay, so we are now done with all our contacts. Now only one is down, that is address. We'll put some information into the address and we'll copy paste. So we'll put 2 rows first of all. We'll say customer ID 1 and state. I'll say MG Road. City, I'll say Pune. Country, I'll say India. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then let's put here as well. For 2, I'll say state GL Road. I'll say Mumbai, India. Okay, now preview SQL. Copy this. Go to your notepad. Paste it here. Values. Null. Null. Copy. Paste. 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 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Okay. Just change this. This is going to be 3. This is customer IDs 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. AB Road. SK Road. MG Road, it will be MN Road. 0. Fine. And then, okay, let's think that we have custom from this only for this city. So let's copy and paste it, close it here, go to the SQL, and then execute it. So we now have the data for the customers, address, contact, all the data we have it, right? If you go to the customer address, we have this, you see customer ID as a thing. Okay, so if you guys, there should not be any doubt. Okay, now let's, this table is ready, right? Data is ready. What we are going to, we need to, that those data are right now into the Appian table. We need to pull those data to the Appian application where we are building it, right? So can anyone tell me what is a primitive data type? Caesar or Renovo? What is a primitive data type?
Primitive data types.
Okay, Sridhar, you go first.
Yeah.
Sorry, is it me addressed?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So primitive data is nothing like default data is like string, integer, double.
Correct. I mean, yeah. So, so it's a Venu, right?
No,
Sorry.
no. Yeah, this is Venu. I think previously Shashidhar.
Okay, so Venu, what is a primitive data type?
Huh. Yeah, primitive data type int, float, and then char.
Yeah.
These are primitive data
So
types. So to
this is
store
the
the
system
value.
defined.
Yeah,
Yeah, so system
yeah,
defined
system.
variable that we have it right already, like integer, text, boolean, float, as you are guys mentioned, right? So those are the primitive data type. Now, if I want to, like for in Java and all, right, we what do you say? We create an array, right, where you want to capture and imply information all in one, right? Kind of a class. So in Appian also, we capture all those different primitive data type in one set that is called CDT, custom data type. Okay, that is a user defined. So instead of capturing these values one by one, if you want to capture these values into one entire one, variable, and we define that variable type is a custom data type, which we'll be creating, then what will happen? All those information will be clubbed together in one set. Okay, like customer IDs and name that we just like the way we have in the table. Okay, so that is called custom data type. Clear? I mean, any doubt? What is a custom data type? It's a collective information of the combination of the primitive data types. Kind of. Okay, got it? Okay, so we have already captured, created this table and all, but now we need to in Appian also in our application also we need to have some variables of that type, right, to hold so that it can hold that information that it is pulling it from the um, table, right? Okay, so what we will do, we will be creating these CDTs for those particular tables. Okay, so we'll go and we'll say new and we'll say data type. So now there are multiple ways of creating a data type. Either we can create it from the scratch or we can create from the existing data type. If we have it, then we can do the copy paste of that data type. The third option is that we can create it from the table or view, any database. If you have, then we can create it from there. And the fourth option is the XST file. So we'll see what is an XST file. If you want, we can create from there as well. So these are the four ways of creating a CDT. So there will be mostly a questions in how many ways we can create a CDT. In lots of interview questions they ask this question. Now the answer very simply, like we can create the CDTs in four ways. Is from scratch, either from the existing data type we can copy paste, or we create from the database or table, or we can create from the XST file. So right now we have our table ready. So why not go and create the database from the table or view. As soon as we select this radio button, it gives me the option, select the data source. So we have one data source that we have called as an Appian Tomcat. And then once you select the data source, it will start giving you the name of the available tables in your database. Now the name is CSM, and we say CSM, so we say customers. So we are going to create a table, a CDT for the customers, and we say continue. So as soon as I click continue, you see this, it's already added all those available columns in the database. We don't have to write it down, but as we are following the camel casing, as an Appian suggests to follow the camel casing, we can give this CDT parameter name as a camel casing. Okay, so I'll just copy paste this and like this. Okay, okay. So this is how we create the data. Just put the name like holds the structure of CSM customer table. Okay, so this is how we can create this data type. Now you can see this is also called something called data store. It's saying create a data store and then entity name. Okay, now for to explain this, I need to show you something. I guess I have that already. Okay, yeah, this is the thing. Okay, so this is Appian. where we are right now, and we are creating a CDT, and this is the cloud database. Everything is within the Appian only, okay, but here is the Appian designer, and here we have the cloud database, okay. And in the cloud database, this Appian database, we have our different tables. So we also have the table that we created as called CSM customers, okay. Got it? I mean, we have a table called CSM customer in our database, right? So now this, see, how do we connect this Appian designer with this particular table? Okay, so we cannot connect directly. So what we need to do, we need to create a data store in between. So we and this data store, there can be one or there can be multiple data stores. For each application, we create a data store. Like for here, we will create a CSM data store. Okay, we will create a CSM data store, and in this CSM data store, we have multiple tables. Like we have customers, we have customer address, and we also have the like customer contact. Okay, so what we have to do, we need to connect this data store to our customer tables. All right, so what we can do here, just copy paste. So this data store can be connected to this CSM customer table. This can be connected to the customer address, and then the same way we can connect this to the customer contact. And these are nothing but the entities. Okay, what we are connecting is called entities. And for each customer data store and for each table, we will be having one CDTs. So we'll say CSM underscore customer. This is an entity, CDT what we are creating, CSM underscore customer address, and this CDTs will be connecting to the CT will be connecting to the CSM data store. Okay, so what will happen, whenever user will try to map these CDTs, they will say, okay, these CDTs are connected to this data store, and this data store is connected to this particular tables. All right, so this is what they want to meant here. If you go to the designer, you see this one, they are saying the data store. So as of now, we have not created any data store. Let's go first and create a data store, so it will be clear for you. So inside this Appian, our application package, what we will do, we will create a new data store. We'll say new data store, and we will give this name as a CSMDS data store for CSM app. Okay, now you see this, it's saying data store name, a source is a Tomcat. It's connected to the Tomcat, that is nothing but a table. According to this example, if you see, this is the Tomcat. They are saying, okay, this is a table, this is connected to this one. Okay, so we'll say create. Now what we have done, we have built a relationship, and you see this one, this is a group access. They are saying administrator will have the administrator access and user will have the viewer access, and we are saving this. So as soon as I create, you go back to, you see a data store has been created, CSM data store we have created. Now if you come here, yeah, so right now this is blank, it does not have any entity connected to it, right? Let me refresh it. You see this one, so there are no entity, it's a blank. Okay, it says data source is Appian, but there are no data entity created as of now. Okay, now what we will do, we are creating this one, right? Now we see this one, it says data source. Now we have already created data source, so we can select here CSM. So when we say CSM, the name is popping up here. We selected the data source. So what we are trying to do now, we are trying to add this relation between CDT to the data source. So if you go to the Excel, this part, CDT to data source, we are continuing. This relation is built. We have done this relation by creating this data source and giving this data source name. So this relation we have built by selecting the data source, and then this relation we are building now. So we are creating the CDT, and then we have selected this data source, a data store, and then we hit create. when we hit create, what it will do, it will create a CDT for us. Okay, this CDT has been created. Okay, this CDT has been created, and then if you go to and refresh this data source, data store, one mapping entity has been linked. It says the CSM customer CDT is now connected to the CSM customer entity, which is available with this within this particular table data source. Okay, so now it is connected. So this is how we can create a CDT and we can connect to the data store, and from there we can connect to the table. Okay, so any doubt here um, how we build this relationship?
No doubts, but one thing, see, to establish the connection, the column names, everything should be same. Let's see, this
No,
CMS customer we have
no,
created
nothing.
from
It's not required. It's not
database.
required to be same. It's not required to be same. You can put the different, but suggestion will be that you put the same so you don't confuse later stage what is the field is mapped to with, right? You can put some different spelling and online, like, if you see the data type, I've given like the customer ref. You can put customer reference number if you want. Complete keyword you can put. Okay, first name you can put FN. That is fine. First name, F name, M name, L name, but internally it will be linked to the particular column. Now, if you remember, while creating the CDT, we have seen there are 4 ways of creating it, right? If you go to the data type, there are 4 ways of creating it. The first is a scratch. So if you hit the scratch, if you say the create, what it will do, it will give the name and it will ask you to put the field one by one manually, right? Then you will not be able to map with the table. It will be CDT of simply simple CDT without mapping to the table. Okay, this is the one way. You can put the name and everything. Okay, whatever you select the type here. So this will be a CDT of the type of simply say simple CDT without connecting to the table. Okay, now let me go, and then the second way is that duplicating existing data type. Okay, so right now, as if you select this one, we have created one data type we have already created. So we'll say CSM. You see it's coming up. It means we can create the another data type from the existing data type. Now the third way we have already seen while creating the data store identity. The fourth is the XST. So what is an XST? Let me delete this. We don't get this. So if you go to this particular CDT, right, and then if you go and hit download XST, okay, so you see this one, right? So this is an XST file. So this get generated. If you want, you can create by yourself and then you can upload to the system. Then it will create a CDT for you. Now, as we have seen that, right, as we have created this CDT by the third option, table or view, you see this, there's a table attribute. It says table and the name of this table. Okay, so XST file has certain JPA annotations. Each JPA annotation suggests about the which table it has been it is connected, and for each column it says at the rate of column and then name of this column. So it's connected to the column ID. So you see this one, right? I can change this name, but internal the relation will be this name should be same as your database column name. Otherwise, it will not match. Okay, it will say we couldn't found this particular column. So this table name is the name of your and this column name is the name of your table column, and this is the name of your CDT attribute. Okay, ID is for the primary key, and generated value is for the auto increment. This JPA notation. So there will be a question in interviews. What is the attribute name in the XST files? What are the attributes we have? JPA notations we have in XST file. So you can mention at the rate of table to define the table name, at the rate ID for the primary key, at the rate of generated value for the auto increment ID, at the rate of column for the column name. Okay, so this is what we have the XST file. Okay, so this is how we create these CDTs, and CDT is ready. I don't want to do much in the first day. It will be a lot of things for you guys now. So what we have seen how to create an application package, how to add objects to that, how to create tables, we added some data to it, and then how to create a CDT. So these are all the things that we have seen today, and we'll proceed from tomorrow for the later things. Okay.